everybody. So it's the end of the year, so we're doing all these lists, and today I'm going to talk to you about what are some of the most impactful moments from movies that I saw this year. And yeah, I'm just going to kind of talk through it. This is not really a top 10 list because it's hard to say what moment was more impactful than another moment. So this is just some that impacted me. So let's talk about it. That to me is In a Quiet Place, when she is giving birth and having to be quiet. I thought that was just so amazingly intense and crazy, and you can hear the creature just in the next room. That was a really good moment. And then I think honestly sort of the last kind of act, particularly sort of the last protest in The Hate U Give, I think was a really impactful moment. And they managed to do it without being like too heavy-handed and too on the nose. I thought it felt natural to the course of the story, and I thought they did a really good job with it. Then another would be the scene in 8th grade when whether it was with her father, and she burns all of her time capsule, and they have the moment where he tells her that it's not her, that's not her fault, and that he loves her, and I think that's a really great moment. I love the scene in Game Night when he's trying to get the blood out of the dog, and it just gets worse and worse and worse, and that whole thing, I think that's hilarious, very funny. I love in Instant Family when they are debating about what to do, whether they want to adopt, and they're eating dinner, and she says, "Oh, well, we're not going to do it," and then they start saying all these mean things about the kids, and Rose Byrne, she said, "We are going to. It's just they're not garbage children." And that whole scene was really moving to me. There were so many movie scenes in that movie that really worked for me. Me in A Star Is Born, when she first sings with Bradley Cooper's character, that whole thing when she first sings The Shallows, that is so moving. I love so many scenes in that movie, but I think that's definitely one of them. I love the proposal in the Guernsey Literary Potato Pill Pie Society. I love the fact that she proposes to him, and it's very romantic. And I love the scenes where characters have a moment in a crowd between the two of them. It's really cool dynamic, I think, because they're just there together, but they're surrounded by all those people. It's so good. I didn't love, but I found it very moving in Roma, the scene where she gives birth, and I won't spoil it for you, but that was so devastating, and you felt so much for her, and it was really brutal. I love so many scenes in The Incredibles too, but one of my favorites was when Mrs. Incredible is fighting on the boat, and Void is there, and they kind of go through the different voids, I guess, the different black holes as they fight, and so they appear in different places. I thought that scene was done so well. Really enjoyed that. I love the princess scene in Ralph Breaks the Internet. I think that was brilliant. I was very skeptical of it because I didn't like when I first saw it, but I thought the way they did it, and especially the fact that Ariel was the star of the whole thing, I was a big fan of that. I liked the casual clothes. I thought they turned out really fun, and it was really good. The next one might be a weird moment because it's a documentary. Like, how can it be a memorable moment? But in Won't You Be My Neighbor, when Fred Rogers is testifying before for Congress to get funding for public television, and he got this curmudgeon old senator or congressman, I can't remember, and he's like, "I don't want to hear anymore. I don't want to hear any more speeches." And then Fred Rogers gives his little speech, and as soon as he's done, he says, "You just earned the $20 million," whatever it was. And that was a really amazing moment. It's real. I think that the Hollywood Ending song in Anna and the Apocalypse is definitely a favorite moment. I think it's such a great song, and I think it really helps you feel for the characters. There's another great scene in the movie where Anna is walking to school, and she's just so sort of caught up in, she's singing a song, and it was a really good song. She's so caught up in sort of her own thoughts that she doesn't notice that there's the zombie apocalypse happening all around her. I really liked that whole scene, was great. I think there's a dinner scene in Juliet Naked that I really loved, where the rock star played by Ethan Hawke is being very dismissive about his fans and about how they obsess over his songs and their things, and you know, oh, the songs didn't mean anything. And particularly, there's one song in the Chris O'Dowd character, who was this obsessive fan. He basically stands up and he says, you know, that song saved me from some really hard stuff, and that meant everything to me. And that was actually, I thought, a really moving moment. And it's a character that's done some like not nice stuff. So I thought for the movie to be able to pull off him having that moment at that time, I thought it just shows how well it was written and how well it was done. Another just huge moment of the year was the wedding in Crazy Rich Asians. It'll just definitely has to be in the running for the greatest weddings in the history of movies. It's right up there with like Sound of Music, I think, as far as epic weddings. It was really amazing. And so that was very memorable. Then in Lean on Pete, this is a spoiler. I can't talk about it without it not being a spoiler. In Lean on Pete, there is a moment where the horse, Pete, dies and gets hit by a car, and it is gut-wrenching. It made me, I was so devastated, so devastated. And then also the ending when he gets to his aunt's house, and she says basically, you're safe, everything's going to be okay, and he just starts to cry. Oh, so good. I loved it. Paddington 2 had a lot of really great moments, but one of my favorites is probably the scene in the barber shop where it's just such a well sort of paced and choreographed scene. This one, I didn't even love the movie that much, but I have to say that having Richard Sherman play a new song at the end of Christopher Robin was really, really special. And that has to go down as one of my favorite moments of the year. Then I have the ending of Leave No Trace, when she tells her father that she's not going to go with him, and that the same thing that's wrong with you is not what's wrong with me, and that she's going to stay there at that what do they call it? I don't know. The little group that they have there. She's going to stay in the trailer, and I don't know. I just was so proud of her, and every time I watch the movie, I'm just like, yes, you did it. You're so brave. Oh. And it was just so touching and so free from judgment, and it was beautiful, and I just absolutely loved it. And then in the documentary Minding the Gap, another documentary moment, but there's a moment where the filmmaker has a conversation with his mother about how her being abused and how it affected him, and particularly like him being able to come out of the closet as a gay man, and just how it affected his life, and her having to kind of say she's sorry. It's devastating and so impactful. If you haven't seen Minding the Gap, you really should. It's really good. And then I just love the moment in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse when he's kind of leaning over the building, and you literally feel I got a little motion sick. It was incredible. And then he dives off, and it's just, that whole sequence was amazing, I thought. And then my last one that I'll talk about in this video is from Mary Poppins Returns. I think Triple Little Light Fantastic. There's so many moments in that movie that I loved, but I think, yeah, the Triple Little Light Fantastic is probably my favorite. It was just, I love the choreography. I love the song. And I just thought it was just Disney magic at its best. And I just think it was amazing. So I loved that moment. I mean, one other one I could kind of say, it's not really a moment, but there's a gag. There's a film called Butterflies, and there's a gag in there where these chickens have eaten gunpowder, and and throughout the movie, they will just randomly explode. And for whatever reason, whenever that would happen, I would die laughing. It was so funny to me. So maybe I have a sick and twisted sense of humor, but it really made me laugh. So there you go. That's some of my favorite moments of the year. Let me know what some of your favorites were. And thanks so much. Please subscribe to my channel. I'll talk to you later. Bye.